Hi, my name is Elle and I'm a cross-stitch artist and designer here on TikTok. Welcome to my cross-stitch tutorial series. If you saw my last video, we were talking about what supplies you need to get started with cross-stitching. Now that you're home with all of your supplies, your first question is probably, I had to buy this giant roll of cloth. How do I know how much to cut off for my project? And don't worry, I have a tool for you. I got you. You're going to start by ignoring how many tabs I have open, and instead you're going to go to 123stitch.com, come over here to their calculators and conversions, and come down to their Aida fabric calculator. That's going to take you to this page. On here, it's going to ask you how many stitches wide and high your piece is. Remember, we're using my Bulbasaur pattern, so I've put in 35 stitches wide, 33 stitches high. We want an extra 2 inches of fabric on each side. If you are doing a bigger pattern, you might want to do 3 inches just to be safe. And lastly, it's going to ask you what count of Aida you're using. I use 14 count Aida, so I'm going to put 14 in there and then calculate. The really cool thing about this page is it shows you all of the things you input, and then over here it says you will need a fabric size of 7 inches by 7 inches. So now I know exactly how much I need to cut. Now, if this were to say 7 inches by 8 inches, I'm actually going to cut an 8-inch square. You always want to go with whatever the bigger one is and make it a square. That way, when you go to hoop it or frame it at the end, one of your dimensions isn't going to be too short on accident. But it also gives you the complete stitched area. If it was all the way filled in, this number of stitches would give me 2.5 inches wide and 2.36 inches high. So I also use this to estimate what size hoop I'm gonna need. If I put this into a 3-inch hoop, that's only gonna give me 1/4 of an inch on each side of wiggle room or breathing room for this piece. So that's how I know I'm gonna bump it up to a 4-inch piece, just so I have a little bit of extra breathing room on all of the sides. It also gives you suggestions on what size tapestry needle, how many strands to stitch with, and how many strands to use for back stitch. If your pattern doesn't tell you these things, you can go ahead and use these recommendations right from 123stitch, or your pattern may come with specific directions for you. I've been using 123stitch's calculator for quite a few months now, and it has never steered me wrong, so I highly recommend it. There are also other calculators like this out there, so you might want to figure out if this one doesn't work for you, there might be one that works better, but this one seems to work great in my opinion. The hoop size may not be exact using this, but it'll at least get you in the ballpark. I hope that helps, and I'll see you next time.